The fundamental building blocks of the creation and formation of Irish identity can be traced to the earliest period of Irish history. People identify with the Celtic world, which begins prior to early Christianity, the Viking invasions, and the Norman invasion. The myths and heroes of the Celtic age were and are still romanticized, and their symbols and imagery were crucial to the creation of a purely Irish state. The interest in the Celtic world and its legends would be a staple of the Irish education in the new Free State and later Irish Republic. These myths have been used to create and reinforce the Irish identity unique to the Irish people, and drawn from an age pre-Anglo-Norman occupation.
Beginning in Celtic Ireland, the mythology heavily embedded in Irish identity is plentiful. A few to mention is Cuchulainn, the Red Hand of Ulster, and the Children of Lir, each commemorating a different event or time in Ireland's history that shaped the character and existence of the people in past and present times. The symbolism of Cuchulainn is extensive. Both Ulster Unionists and Nationalists identify with him. Cuchulainn is used to commemorate the blood sacrifice of leaders of the 1916 rebellion by Nationalists in its location outside the General Post Office, whereas ironically, he is identified by Unionists as an ancient defender of the province of Ulster. The symbol is molded to suit their cause. Another iconic symbol of Ulster, the Red Hand of Ulster, was and is again used by both Nationalists and Unionists. This myth and image represents identity for both sides. The ancient Gaelic family, the O'Neills, who once ruled most of Ulster, have it on their family crest, while modern loyalists still utilize the symbol on their paramilitary flags, which is again ironic considering they are rivals. Last to mention, the myth of the Children of Lir is in reference to the Irish fight for Christianity, pre-English rule. The story depicts a curse in which only Christianity religion sets you free. Christianity was first introduced to Ireland in 430 AD with the arrival of Palladius. However, it wasn't until St. Patrick arrived 2 years later that Christian beliefs became widespread. This early Christian Ireland became known as the land of saints and scholars. Before St. Patrick, the Irish people practiced paganism, a religion which worships the natural world, like the sun and earth. Christianity and paganism later began to mix, hence the emergence of the Celtic cross, a merging of both religions with the circle in the center. St. Patrick's followers began setting up monasteries, or dwellings of Christian faith, and so resulted readings such as the Book of Kells. This era was viewed later in the 20th century as a golden age of learning, art, progress, and faith, and it would be in the Celtic artwork and language of this era which became synonymous with the Gaelic revival movement in the late 19th and early 20th century. Scholars and playwrights looked to the nation's proud past when the Irish were Christian missionaries throughout Europe and champions of the Christian Church, and identified with our historical connection to the Church prior to the Reformation. They interpreted this as a Catholic Church, a far cry from the Protestant Reformed Church of England of its former colonizer, but in reality, the Church in Ireland at this time was far from the modern image of the Catholic Church. Many pagan sacred sites became incorporated, particularly holy wells and pagan gods became Christian saint, with St. Bridget being considered the most famous example.
At the end of the 18th century, the Vikings appeared in Irish waters. They initially came to raid the island and to steal gold and silver from monasteries and establish fortresses and trading posts on coasts. They were challenged by the Irish natives upon their arrival. After they were defeated by the High King of Ireland, Brian Boru, during the Battle of Clontarf in North Dublin, the Vikings decided to stay. They ended up settling and assimilating with Irish society. The cultural legacy of the Vikings was to be largely forgotten in the new Irish Free State. The Vikings were denounced as raiders of Holy Ireland. Despite this fact, many of them stayed, assimilated with society, learned to speak Gaelic, and converted to Christianity. It was the Vikings who founded most of the major coastal town settlements that exist in Ireland today. They marked their territory with long stones, otherwise known as steins, which symbolized their possession of the surrounding lands. The Longstone pub on Townsend Street in the old Viking city commemorates the Viking history with an original Longstone still in place, as well as additional artifacts and murals. Years following the Viking settlement, the Norman invasion began. Dermot MacMorrough, the King of Leinster, wanted to expand his territories within Ireland. As a result, he was expelled and sent to England. While there, he recruited Richard de Clare, most commonly known as Strongbow, the second Earl of Pembroke, to help create an army to go back and invade Ireland. Strongbow agreed in exchange for MacMorrough's daughter's hand in marriage and the position of King of Leinster following MacMorrough's death. Their arrival back to Ireland with the army became known as the Norman invasion. Later, when Dermot died, Strongbow became the new King of Leinster as promised. Today, Strongbow's tomb is held in the Christ Church Cathedral in Dublin City. In their vilification by nationalists and their admiration by Unionists of the first Normans to Ireland, it is often forgotten that both Irish and British were at the time both Christians in a pre-Catholic and pre-Protestant world, involved in land conquest, not religious crusade.
After all the turmoil and invasions, when Ireland became a free state once again, it held on so tightly to its Celtic past and mythology that originally formed its identity. That is what they teach and honor today.